A gunshot rang out, and the boy ran toward the beach. The shore was covered with the bodies of shot birds. A place that once nurtured life had turned into a hunter's shooting ground. In a patch of grass, he found a nest of newly hatched pelican chicks. They were curled up in dry grass, trembling non-stop. The boy took off his coat and used his body heat to warm them. Then he decided to take the chicks home and care for them himself. He found a wooden box and placed it beside the stove. He lined the bottom with newspapers and added a layer of dry grass, trying to create a warm, nest-like space. The next difficult problem was how to feed them. Adult pelicans regurgitate partially digested fish to feed their chicks. The boy couldn't do that. He came up with an idea. He borrowed his father's propeller device, and with the help of an indigenous man named Bill, he mashed whole fish into a paste. Finally, he used a dropper to feed the chicks the fish mixture. Watching them eat quietly and intently, the boy smiled. But this was only the beginning. His father returned from fishing. The boy pulled him aside and told him about saving the chicks. But the father could see the pelicans were very weak and might not survive the night. That night, the boy stayed beside the wooden box the whole time. He repeatedly fed the weakest one. He also brought his father's scarf and wrapped it around it to form a small nest. Later, he even held the weakest chick inside his blanket to keep it warm. Morning came. The pelican chick survived the most dangerous first night. The father made a hand mixer for his son to help him keep preparing the fish paste. Days passed. The chicks grew soft down feathers. They began to see the boy as their mother and would constantly beg for food at night. The dropper was no longer enough for their appetite. The boy secretly used his father's cup to feed them. The pelican's calls woke the father. The boy was caught in the act. He named each chick based on its personality. They were Huo, Hulu, and Hupercy. Watching them grow, the father felt relieved and satisfied. He handed the cup to his son and quietly accepted the responsibility. But new problems arose. To support a family of 5, the father had to go out fishing every day. As the pelicans grew larger, their appetites increased rapidly, from half a bucket of fish to a full bucket. And then, even 2 buckets were not enough. The pressure on the father kept growing. Every time he returned from fishing, the pelicans rushed excitedly toward him and ate almost everything. Fortunately, they were no longer weak. Their feathers became fuller, and they could play ball with the boy on the beach and practice flapping their wings while running, wherever the boy went. They followed closely every morning. They even tried to follow the father out to sea. The father could only reluctantly take them along, but the catch from the sea was still not enough. Later, he took them to the market to buy fish. The 3 pelicans waddled through the streets, drawing stares from passers-by. On this island, there were many hunters. Pelicans had never been this close to humans. Even the woman who ran the fish shop was surprised to see a fisherman buying fish there after the food problem was solved. The boy sat under the roof holding the pelicans. They no longer needed to be fed with a cup. At that moment, the father realized something more important. He told his son that pelicans ultimately belong to nature. They should return to their own kind. Tears filled the boy's eyes. The father comforted him, saying he had already done well. Now it was time to set them free. Before parting, they had to be taught how to fly and hunt. Otherwise, they would not survive in the wild. In the following days, the boy stood in the water every day. He held small fish and moved them across the surface, teaching the pelicans to imitate hunting. They practiced again and again. Soon, they learned to search for food in the water. Then the boy took them to the beach. He ran with his arms wide open, demonstrating the motion of flying. The pelicans copied him. They faced the sea wind and flapped their wings again and again. Soon after, 3 pelicans took flight one after another. Only the weakest one stayed behind. The boy picked it up, though he was reluctant to let go. He still wanted it to fly into the sky. The little pelican finally began to flap its wings. Slowly, it lifted off the ground. It flew. After circling a few times in the air, it kept flying around the boy. But the boy understood. It ultimately belonged to the sky.